Worthy Grand Matron, worthy Grand Patron, distinguished and honored guests, and friends of California Rainbow, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to speak to you on behalf of California's Rainbow Girls. I want you to think back to when you were in elementary school, or maybe to when your children were in elementary school. As summer would draw to a close, there was a feeling of excitement as you would prepare for the new school year to start. The annual back-to-school shopping trip was always my favorite part of the tradition. School supply shopping was my absolute favorite thing to do. I loved walking down the aisles of the store and wanting to buy everything there was. My mom would push the cart while I would grab all of the essential school supplies, such as notebooks with pictures of cute dogs on the front, a 64-pack of crayons because there weren't enough colors in the 32-pack, and finally, a backpack. Picking a backpack was always the hardest thing to do. I would debate in my head back and forth between the choices until finally I would decide which backpack would fit my fashion statement of the year. School supply shopping was always such a thrill for me, and it wasn't until this year that I realized that not every child has the opportunity to experience it. This year, California Rainbow is working to support an organization named A Place Called Home. A Place Called Home, or APCH, is a nonprofit youth center in South Central Los Angeles for children between the ages of 8 and 21. It has a primary goal of helping its members stay in school, move on to higher education, and become community leaders. Many of the members in the community they serve do not have the funds to buy new school supplies each year. In order to help these families, each year A Place Called Home holds a back-to-school giveaway where they give away backpacks filled with school supplies. Just before their back-to-school giveaway, A Place Called Home contacted the California Rainbow Girls with a problem. Their backpack donor was no longer able to donate to the capacity they needed. They asked if we could donate any backpacks and said they needed about 500, but would appreciate any support we could provide. My first thought was, how could we as an organization collect 500 backpacks? How could we organize such an extraordinary effort to support our statewide service project? Could we motivate our members and alumni to meet the challenge? The reality was that we could never meet the need if we did not try, so the California Rainbow Girls went to work. First, we confirmed the details of our backpack drive, and then immediately started promoting it by posting it on social media and emailing the opportunity to each assembly. In the span of just 2 weeks, California Rainbow came together to take on the challenge that we had been presented with. Assemblies voted to buy backpacks and held backpack drives at their meetings. The past grant officers and alumni rose to the occasion and challenged each other to see who could bring in the largest number of backpacks. This project gave the California Rainbow Girls and our alumni the opportunity to serve together on a state level. The next step was to hold 2 statewide backpack drives. We chose 2 events, one in the north and one in the south, which provided everyone the opportunity to bring their backpacks. At the events, people also brought school supplies to be donated. The result of everyone's work was an astounding 891 backpacks. Not only had we exceeded our goal, but we had demonstrated to ourselves that when we work together, we can accomplish any goal. A Place Called Home was overjoyed when they learned the amount of backpacks we were able to collect in such a short amount of time. On August 6th, A Place Called Home held their back-to-school giveaway. Girls from assemblies in the local area were also able to help. A Place Called Home was able to distribute backpacks filled with school supplies to over 1,000 children in their community. In life, we will all be faced with challenges, but if we have the support of others, we can accomplish anything. The California Rainbow Girls learned that when we work together, we can have a greater impact in our community. We also learned that the support we receive is a gift that we should not take advantage of. We are so fortunate to have the support of our Eastern Star members, both on our state and assembly levels. You have attended our meetings, service projects, and have helped us memorize our ritual work. Your commitment and mentorship has impacted many of us and has molded us into the young adults we are today. You have taken the time to participate in our amazing orders, whether it's Job's Daughters, DeMolay, or Rainbow Girls. I want to thank each of you who take a chance to reach out to the youth of today. We will be ready to take on the world of tomorrow because of your investment in us. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Worthy Grand Matron and worthy Grand Patron, honored guests from near and far, friends both old and new, and my Masonic family. I am honored to have the distinguished privilege to come to you today on behalf of the Job's Daughters of California with a message for not only your organization, but our entire Masonic family. That we can inspire ourselves and others to reach personal goals, which in turn can make lasting impressions on others. The best way I can think to share this message with you is through a story of a little girl about 9 years ago. This little girl was dragged to yet another Job's Daughter reception, and she really did not want to go. Maybe it was the fact that she was 9 years old and did not want to sit there for what seemed like hours. Or the fact that she didn't want to wear a dress, but by some miraculous power, her mother and grandmother convinced her to go, combed hair, uncomfortable shoes and all. When she arrived, she was thrust into a receiving line, and little did she know that just on the other side of that sea of people was someone that would change her life forever. She walked up to her, and something inside just burst into joy. The young lady of about 18 years old wore a beautiful dress, a tall heart-shaped crown, and a long green beautiful cape. Though the 9-year-old girl didn't really know what was going on, the words that young lady said to her left an impression on her heart. She encouraged the little girl. She empowered her, and she told her that someday she could be a Miss California Job's Daughter. That very day, the little girl met someone who sparked a flame of inspiration inside her that only grew. Little did she know that this young lady was only the first of many people who inspire her in exactly the same way throughout her entire life. I share this personal story with you to show you just one of the many examples that are both seen and sometimes unseen in our youth orders today. Yes, we need youth to inspire one another, but we need you, Eastern Star, and other Masonic adults. We all have the power to inspire one another's, and with one inspiring act comes another. But like all chain reactions, they need someone to knock that first domino or light a spark. We need people like you, our Eastern Star family, to share a symbiotic relationship with Job's Daughters and inspire membership for all of our Masonic organizations. And that same chain reaction can start with you. I stand before you today and represent your daughters, granddaughters, nieces, and most important, the leaders of our future tomorrow. But how do you become a leader without having inspiration from someone who came before you? We have Bethels that need Bethel guardians, deputies, and council members. We have daughters that just need grandmothers and even mothers. Which one can you be? How can you become involved with your local Masonic youth order? Is there a Job's Daughters Bethel, DeMolay chapter, or Rainbow Assembly in your lodge that needs a helping hand and your support? Our youth orders are building the leaders of tomorrow, but who will be our leaders today? We need you to guide us, teach us, and love us, so that when it is our turn, we are ready to carry your work through generations to come. Someday you may meet a Job's Daughter that has turned 18 and says, "You were like a mother to me. I want to be your sister in Eastern Star." Every leader has had inspiration from someone who they have looked up to, footsteps they wish to follow. This little girl that I spoke of is standing here before you today in that very same green cape and a crown of her very own, because someone inspired me. You never know what kind of spark of inspiration you may ignite, or the legacy that may be left behind because of what you did and who you are. I've told you my story, but what about yours? To everyone here today, at some point in time, can you remember someone who influenced you to do something that you never dreamed was possible, yet here you are? Now I ask you, who will you inspire next? It is time for the next domino to fall. Will you push it? Will you take that step of leadership? The same lodges that you call home are filled with youth who are ready to be inspired. Will you walk beside them and show them who a leader can be? So I leave you with this thought from Mother Teresa. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. That young Miss California Job's daughter cast a stone, and the inspiration she gave me was just one of the ripples that it created. Now I encourage you to cast that stone across the water and push that next domino. If inspiration is a chain reaction, who will you inspire? Thank you, worthy Grand Matron and worthy Grand Patron, for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Job's Daughters of California. And thank you, California Eastern Star.
Grand worthy Matron, Grand worthy Patron, distinguished East, friends, family, and guests, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On behalf of the Northern California DMLA Association, I'd like to thank you for having me here to speak to you today. I consider it a privilege and honor to speak to such avid supporters of our Masonic youth, and most especially great supporters of NorCal DMLA. May I ask that all advisors of Masonic youth groups please stand. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for not only your continued dedication, but the guidance and care that you gave to our Masonic youth. Thank you. For those of you who did not stand, allow me to convince you why you should in the future. DMLA can be seen as a light in the darkness of things that can corrupt the youth. We teach young men of our order to better themselves, to be tolerant in their opinions, and to be respectful to all. Through acts of charity and service, our membership finds joy and pleasure in helping others and building camaraderie. We've been trying to spread the light to others this year by helping the Shriners Hospitals, our philanthropic project, and travel all around our jurisdiction. We have been sharing the mystical pull of the force, encouraging our young men to do good in their communities, one small act at a time. Our theme for this year has been NorCal, Awaken the Force in You. Many DMLA have strived to live up to this by participating in their chapters, communities, and being good citizens, and more so good DMLA. As with every organization, we have famous alumni like Walt Disney, John Wayne, Mel Blanc, and our very own Tom Oberle. But I dare to say that these young men are not the true heroes of this galaxy. The heroes of today are sitting in this room. They all bring a different experience, a unique guide, and a nurturing support to our parental figures, seems to know to give to DMLA. Jobs, Rainbow Girls, and DMLA are the leaders of tomorrow, and we need you. I want to read to you an excerpt from one of our DMLA ceremonies, traditionally given during an installation. For my purpose now, this altar is dedicated to our mothers, whose love never fails. You may rise to positions of great influence in commercial, political, or professional life, but you can never reach the heights of your mother's secret hopes for you. You may sink into the lowest depths of infamy and degradation, but never below the reach of her love. The memory of it will always stir your heart. There is no man so entirely base, so completely vile, so utterly low, that he does not hold in his heart a shrine, sacred and apart, for the memory of his mother's love. Were I to draw you a picture of love divine, It would not be of a stately angel with a form full of grace, but a tired and toil-worn mother with a grave and tender face. It was your mother who loved you before you were born, who carried you for long months close to your heart. In the fullest of time, took God's hand into hers, and passed through the valley of shadows to give you life. It was she who cared for you during the helpless years of infancy, and the scarcely less dependent years of childhood. As you have grown less dependent, she has done the countless, thoughtful, trouble-healing, helpful, and encouraging things, that which somehow only mothers know how to do. You may have accepted these attentions more or less as matters of course, and perhaps without conscious gratitude or any expression of appreciation. DMLA teaches so much more than leadership and public speaking. It teaches us to be better citizens, better scholars, and better men. It has taught me how to be a better son. So I ask you once more, take a chance on us. I know that I'm a better person for it. I'd like to thank you in the Order of Eastern Star this evening for inviting me to speak to you. I'd like to congratulate the 143rd Grand Session of Eastern Star, California, and I invite all of you to our annual convention, Thanksgiving weekend, November 25th through 27th. Once again, thank you, and I cannot wait to see you at a chapter near you.
Good afternoon, worthy Grand Matron, worthy Grand Patron, distinguished East, members of Eastern Star, and guests. It is my esteemed pleasure to be speaking to you on behalf of Southern California DMLA and our great jurisdiction. I would like to thank you for inviting your Masonic youth groups to attend your annual session. On behalf of the DMLAs of Southern California, I bring you greetings. As you know, I am an active DMLA and have been honored by my DMLA brothers to serve them as Southern California Jurisdiction Master Counselor this year. I am also a current student at Cal State San Bernardino majoring in criminal justice. As some of you may know, worthy Grand Matron Mrs. Diaz is a professor at Cal State San Bernardino, and I want to tell you a story about how I came to meet her.
She knows how to dispose of bodies, so be careful.
This past year, I enrolled into an anthropology class, and every time I went to class, I saw Mrs. Diaz, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Miss Diaz, since she was my professor. There was not a lot of interaction between her and I, because this class was taught in a very large lecture hall with nearly 200 students, so it was very hard to stand out. This setting is in complete contrast to DMLA and the opportunities DMLA gives to us while performing ritual. One day I was asked to perform the flower talk, one of our DMLA public ceremonies for Riverside Chapter, Order of Eastern Star. So I gladly accepted, and when I arrived, I was surprised to see my professor sitting in the east. So I asked an Eastern Star member of that chapter, who was that sitting in the east? And she told me, oh, that's Chris Diaz. She's the worthy Grand Matron of Eastern Star in California. So I approached Mrs. Diaz, and I told her that I was one of her anthropology students. And she says, well, now you know what I do on the weekends. After that, I asked myself, how is it that two heads of Masonic orders in California come in contact with each other every day and not know it? Normally, you would not know that someone is a part of the Masonic family unless they're wearing a shirt, ring, or jacket with one of our emblems on it. In addition, most people that are not part of the Masonic family do not even know what we do or who we are. It is only by our actions and our everyday encounters that shows that we are a part of something great. It is the way we treat others and serve our communities that show that we all belong to something greater than ourselves. We need to show pride and enthusiasm for our Masonic orders outside of the Masonic family. I am proud to be a DMLA and a part of the Masonic family. DMLA has made me a better person and has changed my outlook on life. Your California Order of Eastern Star theme for this year, Let Your Dreams Set Sail, is very fitting for Eastern Star and our Masonic family. It reveals a common Masonic principle we all share, that are striving to help others to improve themselves and the world. Present today as members of Eastern Star are several DMLA advisors who have helped shape my life. They are Mom and Dad LaCroix, Mom Baker, Mom and Dad Beinhoff, and Mom and Dad Cox. These advisors are part of my DMLA chapter and have helped mold and shape me as well as many other young men into successful youth leaders in DMLA. When I was 14 years old, I told myself one day that I was going to be Jurisdiction Master Counselor. These advisors have been so instrumental in my DMLA career that it is only right that I thank them publicly in front of their Eastern Star family for all they have done for me. To you and to all the Eastern Star members who are working with our youth groups, thank you. Our Southern California DMLA theme this year is Mount Olympus, Champions of DMLA. Champions of DMLA has two meanings. First, to do your best in DMLA, and second, to be a champion of yourself. The Order of Eastern Star helps with this by giving Masonic youth the opportunity to pursue higher education through scholarships. All across Southern California, DMLAs are striving to be better and to improve their communities. Often when I travel to a DMLA chapter meeting, most of the time they mention Eastern Star. Whether it is a dinner serving, a flag presentation, an invitation to an activity, or a donation, it is great to hear that we support each other. If you have a DMLA chapter in your area, I encourage you to ask them for help with whatever you need and create a mutual bond of support with that chapter. Once again, thank you for helping me, thank you for helping our youth groups, helping kids set sail for their dreams, and for making the world a better place for us all. Thank you.